Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about DOSBox staging, and DOSBox staging just got a brand new update to version 0.81.1. This update contains a number of fixes, for example fixing Wing Commander 3 videos and cutscenes that were appearing height doubled. And it fixes some games that were crashing on startup, for example Time Warriors, and the Tandy version of Impossible Mission 2. Next up, we're quickly talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation on Android with Citra MMJ. And Citra MMJ just got its first update of 2024. So according to the developer with the aid of Google Translate, it says that Citra updates its interface to adapt to handheld display and supports binding to handhelds for key combinations. Overall, this seems like a fairly small update, but at the same time here the developer is still working on MMJ. It has not been abandoned. Moving on, and we're still talking about 3DS emulation, and this time we're shifting over to Lime 3DS, and Lime 3DS just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, Lime 3DS 2112 is the latest update. And this is a small update, but a nice update. For example, they added support for Arctic Base. We talked about Arctic Base yesterday. It's a program designed to play 3DS games on emulators without having to dump them. They've also added favorite game functionality on the desktop version and also added playtime counter on the desktop version. Lime 3DS is 100% free, it's open source, and I'll drop a link to it in the description below. Next up, we're talking about Nintendo Switch emulation with Yuzu fork Torzu, and Torzu also just got a brand new update. Now, in my opinion, similar to Citra MMJ and also Lime 3DS, this is a small update. They've implemented a safer and faster way to get to current mirror URL. They've cleaned up web service reminiscence, and they've added an experimental app image build. So I guess if you're on Linux and you'd prefer an app image over Flatpak, this may be of interest to you. And speaking about interesting, next up we're talking about Spellcraft, and Spellcraft is a brand new N64 game being developed by James Lambert. For reference here, you may remember James Lambert as the person who made Portal 64, the game that no longer exists. Unfortunately, I've got no release date just yet, but I'm very curious to see where this project goes. And speaking about new games, next up we're quickly talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Ubisoft has a brand new official cinematic world premiere trailer that's happening tomorrow. Unfortunately, the release date for this game has already been leaked. So according to the description on their Italian website, it says the game is coming out November 15th of this year. And speaking about leaks, next up we're talking about Red Dead Redemption and PC. And someone did some data mining and found out that Rockstar may be gearing up to release Red Dead Redemption on PC. This is not via emulation, this is an actual PC port. Now unfortunately, at this point in time, Rockstar has not confirmed whether or not this is true, and we've got no release date. Now this game initially released back in 2010, so it's been out for quite a while, 14 years now. Moving on, and we're talking about Warner Brothers, and this is definitely good news. Now to preface this, I'm not certain if it's just one game or every single Adult Swim game, but it appears that at least one will remain for sale. Now, if I take a look at the Steam store, I can see that Small Radios, Big Televisions is listed for sale. And interestingly here, the developer has made this game 100% free right on their website. And speaking about Steam, next up is just a quick heads up that Steam is currently having their Endless Replayability Fest, basically celebrating games that have endless replayability. They have a trailer on YouTube, I'll drop a link to it in the description below. And in that trailer, they've got a link to pretty much every single game they feature there. In my opinion, Dead Cells is one of the best they've got listed, and it's currently 50% off. Moving on, and we're talking about ESDE, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Emulation Station Desktop Edition. And version 3.0.2 just dropped. And this version contains a whole bunch of changes, one of those being adding in Lime 3DS for 3DS emulation. They've also added in the Antutu version of Citra MMJ on Android. The Antutu version is the performance version per se. It tricks the phone into thinking the app is a benchmarking test and the phone runs it faster. But it is worth pointing out that it's not going to work for every single phone out there. Your mileage may vary. And for Linux here, they've added the native release of Big P Emu for Atari Jaguar emulation. Emulation Station is a gaming front end for Windows, Linux, Mac, and Android. The Android version is locked behind a Patreon page. Next up, we're talking about a brand new NES game. It's called Data Man, and the whole purpose of it is to protect your CPU from minions. The physical version of this game is retailing for about €50 overall, and the digital version is up on itch.io for $10. Next up, we're quickly talking about Dreamcast emulation on iOS with Flycast, and Flycast just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 2.3.2 just dropped. Now, Flycast, as far as I know, is not on the App Store, so if someone wanted to install this on their iPhone, I think they'd have to sideload it. And last up here, it's being reported that the Paper Mario Decompilation project has reached 100% completion. So their website says we've reached 100% on the US release. Paper Mario is the third N64 exclusive game to be fully decompiled after Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. Now, the PAL version is currently sitting at 76.55%, and the Japanese version is currently sitting at 21.31% decompiled. If you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about it, I'll drop a link in the description below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.